Alrighty, y'all. How you going? We're in for an interesting one today. This is, I think from a day or two ago, but, still pretty recent news. This was sent to me by quite a few people, believe it or not. This is pretty weird, all right? Basically, the headline is surgeon or neurosurgeon pulls an 8-centimeter worm from a woman's brain in Canberra. Sounds horrifying, right? Goofy, unexplainable. I can't wait to see what this is about. I mean, how does this work, right? This is just freaky. And this is making, world news. So I guess this is like a pretty interesting find. I try not to make the jokes, about like Aussie animals and weird creatures, right? Because everyone does it and it's so overplayed at this point, right? But, this is pretty sus, Australia, right? What's going on here? Let's take a look, okay? So let's go ahead and see what this is about.
Patient involved in this had a protracted illness. It was a sort of mystery diagnosis. And I was on what we call ward service, looking after other patients in the hospital who had infection problems. And I got a call saying, we've got a patient with an infection problem. We've just removed a live worm from this patient's brain. And so
God.
then, of course, there was a flurry of activity in our...
That is just horrifying, right? Like, geez. I am not an expert in worms and parasites or whatever this is, right? I've heard of, like, worms and parasites, but I thought that had to do with, like, I've heard of that, like, getting in what? I don't know if it's, like, your stomach or something, or something in your body, right? I've never dreamed of something going in your head, near your brain here. That is just not fun at all. It's uncomfortable, if anything.
A microbiology laboratory, just trying to work out what this worm was, and eventually...
Oh my God, is that really it? Dude, that is disgusting, man. What the hell?
With the help of a very clever CSIRO scientist, we worked out that this was a new parasite that had never been seen in a human before.
So we were just having a...
Never been seen. So this is actually like a medical find, like an actual monumental moment here. Can we agree on that? What the hell? This has never been found before.
Look at it there. How long was it, just to give people a bit of context with the length of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think of the human brain, which is, quite big, but not huge, and this worm was 8 centimeters long. And it was alive and wriggling when our poor but very skilled neurosurgeon took it out with some forceps.
Did the neurosurgeon go in thinking that there might be something in there?
No. So this patient had been treated, as I said, for what was a mystery illness, and we thought, well, ultimately...
I feel bad for, of course, the lady or the woman that this happened to. Holy smokes. I also feel bad for, like, the team, like the surgeons or the exact neurosurgeon that pulled this out, because isn't it just grotesque and shocking in the worst way? Are they scarred from this or what?
It was an immunological condition because we hadn't been able to find the parasite before. And then out of nowhere, this big lump appeared in the frontal part of her brain. So when the surgeon went in, she was going to do a biopsy. Was it cancer? Was it an abscess, etc.?
Right.
And suddenly, with her forceps, she's picking up this thing that's wriggling. And and she will tell you that she and everyone in that operating theatre were absolutely stunned.
Yeah, so it was a 64-year-old woman from southeastern New South Wales.
Oh, she's from New South Wales. Okay, the title says Canberra. Unless the maybe the operation was in Canberra.
Who was the patient. And so they'd gone through 3 weeks of abdominal pain and diarrhea, and a constant dry cough and a fever.
Which are bad symptoms, right? That's definitely annoying symptoms, but they're also sort of like generic symptoms, right? That could be probably a couple hundred different things.
And then has a worm taken out of their head.
Not a thought that would go through someone's head.
How did the worm get in there?
So
yeah, how did it get in there? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, look, I know we're in Australia for this story, but geez, how in the world did this thing get in there? That's so scary. Did it get in there like while she was sleeping or something? I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm like freaked out, man. I'm freaked out.
this worm or this parasite is recognized to be inside carpet pythons, which are found all around the east coast, that, as far as I understand. It's also found in other snakes around the world. When the snake poos, it poos out the eggs of the parasite, and normally what happens in the animal world, small mammals or marsupials will eat grass, etc., and accidentally pick up those eggs of the parasite, and the parasite will develop in that mammal or marsupial. Then the snake will eat the mammal or marsupial, and the parasite will complete its life cycle.
Wow.
So we as humans are accidental hosts. It's not meant to get into us.
But how
From a carpet python, there you go. Oh my God. Still doesn't really explain how.
did it get in? Sorry.
Yeah, how did it get into her? That's what I was gonna say. Like, that's unless she was wrestling a carpet python, you know.
What we
like-
believe has happened is that this our patient collects warrigal greens from her local area and was using that in cooking. We strongly suspect that the snake has pooed in that area, so the warrigal greens have been contaminated with eggs, and it has gotten into her either directly from her hands or through the warrigal greens when she was consuming them. So we think that that's what's happened. And
That sucks, man. That is so, like, scary, right? Now, obviously, I mean, because this is like a first find in this type of event, obviously this is unbelievably ultra rare. Thank goodness. But it's still a freaky thought, right? She's just living her life, right? Picking from the garden. Think you're doing a good thing, right? Growing your own stuff. Oh my God, man.
it is important for a lot of people who forage out there, not just for warrigal greens, etc. Just wash your hands after you've done that.
Wow, how is she, by the
100%.
way?
Look, she left hospital after we got...
There's no comments on this one. I wonder if there's anything good.
Doctors found a worm.
So here's Inside Edition. I think they do have comments. They do. What a brilliant doctor. The worm is the same color as the brain, so to detect it and take out alive is just impressive. Kudos to Dr. Hari Priya Bandi. I want her to be my doctor. Yeah, I mean, that is a hell of an operation. Thank goodness someone can do it. You know, like, it's crazy. Dr. Bandy, you're an amazing neurosurgeon. This one's funny. Here we go. I'm really surprised they opened her skull without something more conclusive. In the U.S., they just send you home with medications over and over. That's true. That's true. And with a large medical bill afterwards. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, they just like to throw, whatever pills they can at you here. That is pretty common. Operation now, I don't need that. And people didn't know in his comment section where it was at. Probably Oz, New Zealand, because of her accent. Yeah, this was definitely in Australia, guys. That's what I've been seeing, 100%. So that is one of the freakiest news stories I've ever heard. Thank goodness she's okay, from what I understand. She's okay. She's recovering. She's, that's all done. They got it out. What a weird story. What a weird story. Look, interesting news stories are just that. They're always interesting. There's some bizarre news out there. And wow, Australia, man, this has got to be up there for most interesting news stories in the last year or so, I imagine. Anything like this you would like to share, let me know down below. Thanks to those who showed me this. I could safely say that is just freaky. I guess I'm glad they found it. I'm glad everyone's, better now, like safe. They got it. And hopefully they can use this as a medical, progression, right? Hopefully this can help just spread awareness of people to prevent this from happening again. Even though it is ultra rare, it's still one of the freakiest things ever. And I'm sure it could have gone a lot worse. So thank goodness. And you never know what you're going to find out in the news, right? I feel like the U.S. produces some really interesting, goofy, humiliating headlines, But I tell you what, you can find some really interesting and fascinating headlines elsewhere, especially in Australia. So that's what I've definitely learned. So I would say I hope you enjoyed this one, but let's get real. I don't think many people enjoyed this. They might have found this interesting, but I don't think this is an enjoyable picture to paint here. So throw a like under if you want. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. And live streams coming up in a couple days this weekend. It's going to be fun. So hope to see you guys there. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.